Hey folks, welcome to Girl Talk. We are excited about another great show. We've got some fabulous guests coming on today. Conant, we're representing. Yeah, we've got Conant represented behind us. He's going to come in and give us some much needed car care tips as usual.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm always enlightened when we get to chat with him.
Thought of you yesterday. One of my indicators on my car for the tire pressure was saying that it was low, it's low, it's low, and I thought, Jessa drove on hers when hers were low. And
I did that. I did.
What happened? Not good?
It wasn't good. Well, if you consider having to replace them as not good.
Terrible.
And they were newer too, weren't they?
I had bought them last winter.
Oh,
It's expensive.
Yeah, just because I ignored the low I didn't think low pressure was that important. Apparently it is very important. Yes.
So I learned from your mistakes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That's why I did it, Jen. Was for you. Appreciate it. For you ladies, collectively. So yeah, we'll get to chat a little bit with him and get some car care tips for you at home too if you're not quite as savvy as I am. But I'm excited to talk to the Diamond Center as well. They are always fabulous and
super nice folks too.
Yeah.
Well, you said your diamond's loose. That's so scary.
It is. I know. I don't even have it on right now because of that.
I wouldn't either. I
I'm
would be so
nervous.
scared. You just look down and it's gone.
I know. I don't think it's going to fall out, but it just is making me nervous. So.
See, it's just much simpler not to have it, right?
For all you viewers at home.
See, I'm such a
That's right.
fidget. Once I know about something, like I would play with it.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I actually brought it in a box to see if they want to take a look at it. So maybe I'll pick their brain about that.
Well, even for not my diamonds, I was going to wear this ring this morning, and it has this giant opal in it, but it's been notorious for falling out. And so I kind of like turned it around and poked it a little bit, and sure enough, it like shut up. I should bring it there. They can take care of it there for you right away.
Yeah, that's what's nice. They do a lot in-house, and I think that's really comforting to me.
My
to not
problem is
have
then
it
I
sent.
would shop.
Yeah, well, that's not a problem. That sounds like good fashion sense, Kirsten. So that's great. So I just want to talk about this really quick because I know I always talk about Facebook, but this is the only social media I do. So whatever.
Me too.
Facebook.
Yeah.
So you had posted this video on Facebook that I watched, and I thought it was so cool. The Tom Hanks. What show is that? I'm stupid.
It's new. I think it's the Late Show. It's a new host, and I'm not too familiar with him, but that was an incredible sketch.
I
and
love
it's
Tom
obviously
Hanks.
hilarious.
It's the show that Craig Ferguson used to have.
right. So I think this is
So whatever the replacement guy is, and I haven't even seen the show, but I saw that clip.
It was so great. I
So-
love Tom Hanks.
So Tom, if you haven't seen it, you got to Google it.
I
It's
haven't
hilarious.
seen it.
Okay, Google. Google Janet.
all
He
of
does-
his movies.
In what, 8
7
minutes?
minutes.
7
Yeah.
minutes.
Less
yeah.
than 7 minutes, and it's not like rushed through. It is great.
Oh, I would
and
like
hilarious.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how many heads does he have? Like 20 something.
I know,
There
it's
were movies
crazy.
that I have never seen before or
Yeah.
heard of.
Some of my favorites were on there, and that I'd forgotten about. I loved Big. I used to love that movie, so that was really cute.
A League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
No
Yeah.
crying in
Like-
baseball.
I know, and that's the clip. Yeah, so how fun because it's all the like famous lines of that they do, and you have to.
So it's a
watch it.
collage kind of
It's
all
a
that.
collage.
Yeah, but he and the
yes.
host, they like change, they get like props, and then the back screen changes. It was like all on the spot, and then they have like their lines, and then they just rush through each movie.
That does sound good.
Yeah.
And it's
Toy
like
Story is
it's,
even on there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Toy Story, yes. And 2 and 3.
Yep.
all of them. But it's kind of cheesy and cute because they use all these little crazy props and they're
Yeah.
throwing them quickly and getting into the next thing, and they do it like on a green screen, so there's a background. And anyways, we're way easily amused.
What a
but-
great idea for this new host, and you know he just took over the show. Like, what a celebrity to have to
Yes,
like really
yes.
kick it off and
Yes.
start it.
He's great.
Smart too. I mean, get a big name like that and then do something that's so
You
kind
know
of
it's gonna go viral. It's
Right.
gonna be everywhere.
yeah.
Even on Girl Talk.
Too bad we're all
Right.
talking about Tom Hanks and not we don't even know the name of the new host.
Yeah.
of the show, but, you know, we'll check it out. We'll watch
You know.
it. Goodness gracious. Well, pretty exciting. We'll come back in a little bit and we'll pick Tim's brain from Apple Wellness, he is one of my favorites because he is so good. We could ask him anything and he has an answer on the tip of his tongue. So
He really knows the industry and how to stay healthy and get healthy, and
he sure does. And we asked viewers for to email in some questions, which they did. So we'll have an opportunity to tell him what those are and see if he knows it. We'll test his knowledge, his supplement
I think he
IQ.
likes that.
He loves it. Yeah,
So if you have more questions, email them in.
email him in. So we'll talk to him right after the break. Stick around for more Girl Talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We've got an exciting session for you here. We've got Tim O'Brien with Apple Wellness. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
So we've got some really interesting, we took some questions from viewers. So we recently had an email come in asking about some of your supplements and what can be done for arthritis. And before we started taping, Elise, you were kind of talking about that anyway, weren't you?
Yeah, so I'm a dog groomer and I would like to start doing preventative maintenance now. I mean, as far as, for my joints, and arthritis can be a problem, and I know my former boss, she's getting injections of I don't even know what, steroids or something, but what can I take now that can help me in the future for, 20 years down the line in that regard?
Yeah, great question. So joints, muscles, ligaments, there's an elasticity that's needed to keep arthritic pains down, pain levels down, and when you take higher levels of omega-3s, fish oil is my favorite, but you can do flax oil too if you're vegan.
Okay.
Brings essential fatty acids into the system, and every cell is surrounded by them, so it nourishes every system in the body. So a lot of healthy benefits there, but keeps that elasticity, keeps inflammation down because it's an anti-inflammatory. And then the second thing, if there is more pain, I mean, omega-3s are a great preventative, but if we do deal with a lot of pain, the curcumin, which we've talked before, is the most powerful
That's your favorite.
natural yeah, it really is. Most powerful natural anti-inflammatory that we probably know about.
So what about glucosamine?
Yeah. Glucosamine's great. Terry Laminard's the guy that brought that over, I don't know, 30 years ago or something like that. And it does work. It helps a lot of people. But it takes about 6 weeks to get into the system, and that only works for maybe 50-60% of the population. So that curcumin, 9 out of 10 people feel a difference if it's in the right form in 45 minutes. So
Wow.
it's a bit different, yeah.
I heard that. Well, I heard you on the radio this morning, and I heard that. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's surprising.
So cut the glucosamine, stick to your omega-3 and
Curcumin, yeah.
and the fabulous curcumin.
can you address dosage for
Yeah,
that?
for sure. So there's no known toxicity for curcumin, even upwards of 10 grams a day, which nobody would really take that much. So a couple grams a day of the curcumin, omega-3s.
Yeah.
It's great if you, I don't know, it might have been your question. EPA, DHA, if you can get that up to around 1,000. Not omega-3 fish body oils. That's not the big goal. The EPA, DHA is what you want, that higher level, closer to 1,000 a day if you can.
And dosage-wise, do you take some in the morning, some in the evening, before you eat, after you eat? Is there any recommendation?
Can do it a lot of different ways. The main point is get it in your system daily.
Yeah.
You and with the omega-3s, I've seen I have the little pills, but then I've also, sometimes it's refrigerated. What is the difference with that?
Yeah, for sure. So the oils are actually low high heat extracted from the fish, and that denatures it to an extent. And so there's whole food forms that your body actually receives a lot better. So whole food form would be a more absorbable, bioavailable form compared to an oil. But then there's straight oils, there's soft gels, you can get them in emulsified forms. So lots of different delivery systems. It all comes down to where is it being sourced from, how is it being processed, and what's the delivery system. So there's a lot of good ways to do it. But again, it's good to have somebody on your team to kind of point, here is the difference, this one for you, your issues would be better. Nice to have an expert.
So Tim will hook us up.
I know, it was just there's so much to know. You just got to go talk to Tim.
Yeah, that would
It's
make it easier.
confusing.
Before we
Sure
run
does.
out of time, I'm always interested in keeping a strong immune system.
Yeah.
I'd rather do a preventive strike than stay home sick for a week. What would you recommend in that area?
One of the most powerful nutrients for immune, Japan, every hospital has AHCC mushroom. it increases your NK cell activity, frontline defense to your immune system by 300 to 800%, so pretty impressive. And then your T cells, which is like the backup to the NK cells, it increases that by 200% and doubles the macrophages, which kills foreign objects and stuff. So AHCC is one of my favorite. Probiotics is always a good go-to as well.
You mean like yogurt?
Yogurt, yeah, except that only has about 1 billion. You can get like a 15 billion in a supplement form. That'll do a lot more for your immune system because 80% of your immune is controlled by your gut flora.
Okay.
I can only imagine what your supplement lineup must be in the morning.
But I don't look at him. You're like the Energizer Bunny.
I try, keep on going.
That's awesome, though. I was just thinking, like, you have to eat a lot of yogurt. Just go see Tim. And
I do like yogurt, but...
I do 80 billion a day, and it's equivalent to 1 gallon of yogurt.
Oh, wow.
What is it called again?
The probiotics?
Yeah, no, yeah, the supplement.
The brand I use is Renew Life, is one of my favorites. They're out of Florida, and then Terra Coated, so you get almost 100% delivered. A lot of probiotics, 50 to 70% gets destroyed in the stomach acid. So
All right, so go get preventative maintenance. Go see Tim. He's going to set you all up, take care of you for the future, and make you feel good right now. So go see Tim at Apple Wellness. We'll be right back with the Diamond Center.
Hi, and welcome back to Girl Talk. We're here with Trisha Linskins from the Diamond Center, and she's going to tell us all about what they offer. And gosh, I really don't want to bust into your slogan right now because it's so catchy. You hear it on the radio all the time. I really
was thinking that too. We should sing.
told myself I would not sing for you. But Trisha, can you start us off today and tell us why your slogan is "We're your jewelry superstore"?
Well, we always call ourselves a jewelry superstore because we carry more than just jewelry. We have watches, we have colored stones, more than just diamond rings and things like that.
Sure, which you kind of get from your title, the Diamond Center, but you've really got it all.
Yeah, everything.
So you don't need to shop just for that engagement ring, I suppose.
No, not just engagement rings, a little bit of everything. Especially, we really like to focus on all the other things like diamond studs, earrings, necklaces.
Yeah, Mother's Day is around the corner.
Absolutely.
And I've seen you have Pandora. I like that stuff too.
Oh yeah, yep, Pandora.
I didn't even realize that.
Beautiful.
So you have lots of inventory, a big variety, but you also have staff to support that. I think I saw that you have a couple goldsmiths. Is that right? When I was looking on your website? Okay.
We have a goldsmith on staff every day, and a couple days of the week we actually have 2 or 3 on staff. So there's always someone to help you out with any kind of repair needs as well.
And they, just because they're a goldsmith, this is maybe a dumb question, but they can do all kinds of metals too. They can still work on your silver and right?
Yep. Okay. That's one thing. We actually have a laser welder, which is the only kind of thing that can work on silver, which makes it a little bit more unique, and it takes a certain kind of goldsmith or silversmith to actually work on them.
Interesting. And my question is, let's talk a little bit about keeping things in good condition. So you've got somebody in-house that can work on jewelry and rings and all that kind of stuff. What kinds of things should we be looking for? I'm not even actually wearing my ring today because I was going to ask you after actually the diamond's a little bit loose, and you know what I don't know if that's normal or not. It's like it's not going to fall out, but it's loose. Like what kinds? I mean, I'm sure that's kind of a warning sign. What else do we look for?
Well, you definitely don't want to have any kind of loose diamonds, stones, anything like that.
It's bad.
Yeah, all it takes is catching it on a glove and poop, out comes your diamond. But the main thing you want to check for is, like you said, loose stones. If you see anything catching on things, that probably means a prong is lifted up. Or the majority of things is when you actually have a little bit of rhodium plating wearing off on your ring. All it takes is polishing it down and redipping it, but it's something that you don't really think of until you see it.
And I was going to ask, like, how easy of fixes are they? Do you typically, are you able to do that then in-house? You don't need to send it out usually?
Yeah, everything's done in-house.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
We usually like to give a little bit of time, that way it's not rushing the goldsmiths and they do it the right way, not the quick way. That way we can actually make sure that it's going out properly. It makes it look like a brand new ring.
But that's really nice for people to not have to send their rings out because that's kind of nerve-wracking, especially your wedding ring.
Yeah.
You know, you're missing it. It's in the mail. You know, what if
In the mail.
things happen?
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to get it done right there. I think.
Absolutely, and then with all of your smiling faces, it kind of puts them at ease, I'm sure, a little bit. So we've talked about preventative maintenance and maybe with the goldsmiths, but what other services do you provide at your shop?
We can do pretty much anything from like sizing a ring, engraving. You can do, like I said, the most that you do on a ring is going to be the rhodium plating and the polishing, just the simple maintenance to kind of keep it looking sparkly.
But what a great gift idea, an engravement for your mother.
Yeah.
On a watch or a necklace, that's great.
What about custom work? If you wanted to make your own engagement ring, do you do something like that?
Oh yeah, custom actually we've been focusing a lot on more recently. We can literally take a sketch and build it into real life. It's kind of neat.
That is neat.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of it being unique it makes it so much more special.
Yeah.
Well, and I know I already mentioned Mother's Day, but I think that's a really nice thing for mothers to have that custom jewelry because, you know, it's kind of popular, I think. I don't know, I should ask you, but to do like the birthstones, like you can do like the kid birthstones and the mother birthstone, but it's hard to find something that you like, you know, when you're like shopping online or something. So to be able to make your own, I think is really neat. You can do that.
Kind of forces those guys to get creative too.
Yeah,
with an engagement
there
ring.
you go. See?
I like that. So keep that in mind, guys. All right, thank you, Trisha, for being here. It's
Yeah,
always
thanks
nice
for
to have
having
you.
me.
Our pleasure. And stay tuned for more Girl Talk. We checked in with Conant Automotive earlier this week, and we've got all of your car care tips coming up. Stay tuned.
Last but not least is our favorite go-to guy for our car questions. This is Joe Conant from Conant Automotive out in Stoughton. Thanks for joining us, Joe.
Thank you.
We have car questions. I know I've had a burning car question. I kind of hope my dad's not watching. I keep getting my check engine light. No kidding. And the most recent, it goes on and it goes off, and that's the hard part. And so the other day, it went on, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take care of this thing once and for all, and I made the appointment. And I'm quite literal here. I got in my car and pulled out of the driveway, and it went off.
Okay.
And I've been told that you can't even diagnose it if it goes off. So talk to us about the check engine light.
Yes.
Okay, the biggest thing with a check engine light on is it happens when you're coming home from work at 5 o'clock at night. And it can be frustrating because you don't know what's going on. You don't know if you're going to make it home. You don't know if it's going to start the next morning.
Or if you should drive or stop or...
So a lot of shops, and especially what we do, is like if a customer calls up and yep, my check engine light's on, we'll say, come on down. We'll scan it to see the severity of the code because that's what's stored in the computer of the vehicle. And what we'd use is a tool like this, which is like a $50 code reader. And a lot of like parts stores will do this, offer this, like come and read, we'll read the codes for free. This is not a diagnostic tool, and a lot of people think that it is, so they'll think they'll be able to fix their car with this, or the parts store is going to be able to sell them a sensor or whatnot. This will tell you how bad the code is and if you can drive the car. So then you can set up the appointment. So then we would note the code, and then you can be on your way, set up the appointment for a day or two later. And then when you come in, we would use, everything is going laptop. Let me turn it around. Whereas old days, which I should say, the last 20 years, you would get a big red box that would be a scanner, they would call it. Well, nowadays everything is being software where we buy the software from the OE manufacturers and put it on the laptop. So we can touch basically 90% coverage out there. And that's how you diagnose a check engine light.
Are you talking coverage of the vehicle or
Yep.
like different makes and models?
Coverage of the car line, like General Motors, Ford, Chrysler,
Okay.
European, the Asian. I mean, we can take care of all of them. And
So-
most shops can.
So in my situation where the light went off, can you still do it?
Because the computer still has that stored in the system.
Oh, really?
Like you could drive the biggest mistake people make is let the check engine light go. And the
We all look at each other, guilty
the thing is
faces.
you got one little light bulb that tells you, the computer, that it sends it a fault, that, okay, the computer can store maybe 350 different codes. So when that light comes on, let's say it's just a real simple thing like a gas cap's faulty. Okay, you let that go. I don't have time to fix it. Well, 2 months later, that light's still on. You're thinking that it's a gas cap. Well, then it's this problem. And another week later, it's
You
this
don't
problem.
even realize that's something else.
So
is
that
occurring.
instead of being a $50 repair, the first time to get that light off, you come in a year later and it's a $600 repair.
Right, because you think it's that first small incident.
Right.
Wow.
So that's very important. That light should never be on. It should always be off. Even though somebody read it with a code reader or whatever, a scanner, and oh, we'll put that off. Well, tomorrow, we're going to fix it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow never comes, and then I run into that a lot. And it's not nice to give a customer an estimate for $600, $700, $800.
No, it's not nice at all.
No, always have that light off.
So the on-off doesn't mean we're in the clear when it's off.
No.
No.
And the thing is, when that light comes on, it could be something real simple, like I said, a gas cap, or it could be something more severe. The biggest thing is when the check engine light flashes, that means something needs to be fixed immediately.
Okay, flashing.
And that means that something expensive could fail if you continue driving with it flashing.
Are you listening?
Yeah,
That's
certainly
the
am,
biggest thing.
Absolutely.
But the majority of shops out there, if you call them up and say, yep, my check engine light's on, a lot of shops should say, yep, come right in, we'll read the code quick, note it down, and then we can schedule you in. That's the best way to do it. That way, you know what's going on. Instead of sleeping, going to bed at night wondering what's wrong with your car, you
Right.
can have a little peace of mind, and that's the important thing.
And let's talk a little bit about the scheduling process. So when we call to tell you something's wrong with our vehicle, what kinds of information do you want when we're calling to make an appointment? What does that look like for you?
We like it. I'm glad you asked that. We like it when people call up and say, okay, my car is doing this. It happens at this time when I'm turning or when I'm driving. It's making this noise and so on. It's so nice when people, and I'll say females, call up and say that. And then it's so much easier to work with.
Because we don't know what's wrong.
Well,
we just
a lot
know
of people don't.
what
Well, my
noise it
boyfriend
makes.
said it was this, and my dad said it was this, and you don't want any
And
of that.
sometimes they can be right, but a lot of times people will go on the computer and Google search, and that's when it really gets crazy, because then they're making all these assumptions, either what it's going to take to fix it. And I would say a lot of the males that call up will tell you what's wrong with the car
Instead of
or
the
the truck or
symptoms.
whatever. And for instance, and I hope I don't make this customer mad at me because it's kind of funny. The customer called up and said, how much for the exhaust system on my truck? Well, okay, instead of, if the way the scenario should have went, Joe, my truck is making a lot of noise. I think it's from the muffler or whatever. Can I get in and have you guys give me an estimate? Sure, no problem. No, it went to, how much for my exhaust system on my truck? Well, then I shot him a number. Well, it's going to cost you probably about $1,500 to $2,000. And he went silent, and I said to him, well, we're looking at exhaust manifolds, we're looking at catalytic converter, we're looking at, you said exhaust system. And I was being kind of smart, but I guess that's my personality, and yeah, he's coming in and we're going to inspect his exhaust, and it's probably going to be a quarter of that. So
So you're one. Well, and I would actually appreciate an overestimate versus an under. So that's nice. But you're wanting the symptoms of what's happening with your vehicle,
And let you do the diagnosing.
and let you let the expert do the work.
Well, we'll have to bring you back because I know we always have more questions.
thanks,
I
guys.
know, we didn't even get to mine.
We're
Sorry.
out of time. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Joe Conant from Conant Automotive in Stoughton. And that's it for today. Thanks to all of our guests. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Girl Talk.